Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, you jet setter. I'm one too.
Hey, yeah, listeners, last weekend, Jill and I got on a plane and
for the first time since COVID.
Oh yeah, it was the first time. So we got on a plane and we went to Texas, and Texas. It was Texas,
right? And in 24 hours, we came back.
Yeah, we flew in one morning and left the next morning. It was fantastic.
Yes. We're still recovering from it, but it was good.
Yeah, it was good.
So we'll have to plan our next trip. But next time, maybe we can stay longer.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
Well,
let's get to this week's episode, which is about when you give too much of yourself. We're talking about obligations and how much we do of that versus how much time we spend with our loved ones. It's part of a segment that we call
Stand by your stance.
I brought up this topic because it's how I'm feeling.
That's how you feel, really?
Yes, I'm feeling like I'm giving way too much of myself to other people and not enough to my loved ones. So I need to find balance in that.
What is it? What are all of these things you're doing for other people that you're not doing for yourself, or spending quality time with me?
Well, one can argue that the obligations I have are meant for us. So we all have work obligations, especially you. We all have obligations for our own passions, if that's not your work. So I feel like every day I have to truly, and I love my to-do list. I love to-do list.
No, I don't think you love to-do lists.
I like crossing off things off my to-do list.
Yeah, but
that's fun for me.
Yeah, I don't think you like the to-do list. Every time you make a to-do list, you're like, oh my God, I got too much to do.
No, I've learned to only put 3 to 5 things on a daily to-do list, because more than that, I know I'm not going to finish. So, but I take great pride in crossing off things on my to-do list, but I've narrowed it down to 3, 4, or 5 things each day. But I'm realizing that many of the things on that to-do list are not necessarily things I like to do, but I have to do. So
why would you do that?
Why would I put to do?
Yeah, why?
Because I have to. It's part of, maybe it's part of my job. Maybe it's part of a promise that I've made to people. So I like to keep my word that, I've gotten better with that, of not saying yes to everything just because I can do it. Sometimes I just don't want to do it. If there's anything that I've gotten better at during COVID, it's saying no.
Saying no.
Yes. I've actually gotten better at that. So this is why we're having this discussion. Do you feel that I am like when you see that I have work to do? Like today, I have work to do as soon as we're done recording this podcast.
Yeah, it's a podcast.
That's what it's called.
Remember? So you have too much stuff on your to-do list to know what we're doing right now, right at this moment.
Well, this was on my to-do list. So again, it's an obligation. Even the podcast is an obligation that I have promised to fulfill. So even today, after we finish, I have more work to do. So do you feel slighted? Do you feel I'm not spending enough time with you?
But no.
Good.
So it's all good. So end of this episode. Done.
No. No, that's not right.
No. Well, you said give too much of yourself. I don't think you're giving too much of yourself to where I don't get to spend any time with you. I'm good. So what's the problem?
Well, the problem is sometimes when I do spend the quality time with you, especially during COVID, you and I have watched more and more. We've streamed more and more movies, right?
We have.
Oh yes, we've streamed more movies than we ever have.
I disagree. I definitely disagree. We watched movies just about every weekend. Period.
But we used
Before
to not
COVID.
watch movies every weekend. We used
Yes,
to go
we did.
places instead.
We went places and we watched movies also.
Not every
We
weekend.
watched movies, documentaries. We watched a documentary last night.
But I'm saying that we're doing that more often than we did pre-COVID.
I disagree. I don't think that's accurate. I'm sorry.
It is.
No.
If you think about this later, it is.
No, I don't think so.
It is.
No.
Well, anyway, my point of bringing that up was that sometimes when we're watching movies, I think, and I'll be present for the movie mentally, physically, emotionally.
Mentally, physically? You have to be mentally.
Sometimes,
physically?
Do you not know that sometimes when people are watching a movie, their mind isn't there; they're somewhere else?
You said physically.
So yes, I'm there physically with you too.
But don't you have to be there physically to watch a movie with me?
No, not nowadays. We could watch movies from 2 different rooms if we wanted to.
Yeah, we could. But not just for nowadays.
Anyway, you keep interrupting my thought. The point I'm making is that sometimes after the movie is over and I look at the time, because, most movies are an hour and a half, 2 hours long.
Okay.
I think, oh, man, I should have spent this time
doing
writing or something else.
Yeah, really, you should have. Jill.
We said we were going to have writing dates, but we've not done that.
You said that.
I know. We said we were going to. You agreed, and we didn't.
Yeah, but that's in your ballpark. That's something you wanted us to do, so you should initiate it.
Oh, you can't initiate things?
No, that was your idea. I personally don't think we have to have writing dates. I can, whenever I have time, I write. So
you haven't written for a few weeks now, you keep saying.
Yeah, because there were many other pressing things, and I was also sick. I was too sick to.
Yes,
write.
and in
so
case
I was
listeners
working and I was sick.
In case listeners haven't picked up on it, you still have congestion.
Yes, I still am dragging.
Yes, but that gets to.
But that's why. And then it was holidays, and we went out of town, came back, and
But that gets to the point of this whole episode. You had other obligations as well that kept you from things that were meant for you too.
Yes, but isn't this episode about giving too much of yourself
to other things instead of balancing it out? So because you gave yourself to those other things the last few weeks, you haven't had time for your own important work.
No, I think I'm just disagreeing with you.
I think you're really sick. You're not thinking clearly today.
I am thinking, because when I think of giving too much of yourself, I think of giving to other people and to other projects that aren't yours, instead of working on yourself or working on your project. That type of thing. That's what I think of when we're.
That is what we're talking about. But sometimes those other things are for family.
Yeah.
But
that's
it
not
takes
giving,
away from.
Yeah.
We're talking about obligations and how you can get so boggled down with all that you're obligated to do or promised to do that there's no time left for your own personal things. That's what we're talking about. You disagree with that too? What's wrong with you today? Snap out of it.
Going back to what I said, if it's a holiday, like it recently was. It was a holiday. So we went and spent time with family on a holiday. Okay. I don't see that as giving too much of myself.
I didn't say that was an example of that.
The other thing you said I didn't have time to write, and the reason is that I didn't feel well. So I didn't give too much of my.
That's one of the reasons.
I didn't feel well. We went out of town.
And you had all these other things to do.
No, that's just life. You know, we went out of town. He did that, and then I wasn't feeling well enough to write. So that wasn't, and I work 14 hours a day anyway. Okay.
Work obligations, yes.
Yes, but even with that, I still find time to write. The only reason I didn't find time to write over the last 2 weeks is I wasn't feeling well. I was sick. So I don't believe I give too much of myself. I don't think that was a thing of giving too much of myself. But if I had, instead of writing, I volunteered for an organization, and that was the reason I didn't get to write, I might be giving too much of myself.
Yes, but sometimes maybe you're sick longer because you don't have time to get the proper rest that you need to recover, because you are obligated to do other things.
Like work?
Yes. Well, I guess I'm
keeping a roof over our head.
I'm not saying don't work. I'm just saying that wouldn't it be nice if our work days, like, do you know anybody who actually works 40 hours a week that's a full-time worker?
A lot of people.
Really?
Yes.
Because I don't know any of them.
Yes. They clock in the morning and they clock out in the afternoon. Done.
Well, most of the people I know, first of all, most of the people I know don't literally clock in. But when they go to work, and maybe they do arrive at the time they're supposed to and leave at the time that they're supposed to. But at home, they still have work-related things because they're expected to answer work emails, or they're expected to prepare for a meeting, or whatever it is that they have to do at home. It adds
at
up.
Home for their job?
Yes.
Oh, no,
yes.
See, that's something different.
Yes. Most people I know, even if they go in and out, and that adds up to 40 hours, most people I know still have work to do at home for their job. So there's putting in a lot more. And then with COVID, for the people who normally didn't work from home, they found that they were actually working even more hours, because at home, for some reason, there was the lines of office space versus home
were definitely
blurred.
Yes. That's,
and they
like
couldn't stop.
That's a fact. That's why some people really want to go back to the office.
Right.
But I have a feeling when they go back to the office, the higher ups, their bosses, have gotten used to them putting in all that extra time, and they'll still want them to do that, even though they come into the office.
Agreed. So the whole point I'm trying to make is that, where do we find the balance? Wouldn't it be nice if your work expectations weren't so extreme and feasible?
So how do we how does one control that, Jill?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer for that.
Come on now, you have to have an answer.
Years and years ago, I used to think, if I worked for myself, it would be balanced more. But I learned, and most entrepreneurs will know this too, that you actually work harder for yourself than you do for other people. So I don't know. I'm trying to. I would love to. If listeners have ideas, I would love to know how you find that balance. I believe that I used to have that balance.
You know how to find that balance, Jill. Come on.
I do?
Yes, of course you do.
I do?
Yes, you even at the beginning of this episode, you alluded to it that you.
Oh, I say no.
That's right. You have to learn how to say no.
Yes.
You also have to learn to create boundaries.
Right.
Okay. Hey, you only have me this long.
Right.
Boom. Whatever
right.
happens,
and
it doesn't-
depending
if
on
they
who
get-
you work for, they may or may not respect those
They may-
boundaries.
They may not, but
then
that's in
becomes
your
an.
ballpark.
I was going to say that becomes an option for you
That-
of whether you're
that's
going
right.
to tolerate it or go
not.
elsewhere.
Because the deal is the only people that can take advantage of you are the people you let take advantage
yes,
of
that you allow to do that.
Exactly.
Yes, because people, I know you don't like this word, but you can really train people how to treat you, how you can. So either they know that they can get over or they learn that they can't. One of the two.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And then some people, they may never get it, of course, but those are the people I've learned to avoid as much as possible.
So, quite often, and we're talking about giving too much of yourself, but most of the time, it's actually on us. It's on yourself of how that plays out, because I am guilty of like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, do this and do that. And I've, worked for myself about my entire life. And I would put a lot of stuff on that to-do list. And I would just keep going and 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 going. And then I got older.
And wiser.
Yes, I got wiser, but I also got older. So the physical, because of the physical demand on just running like that non-stop, I couldn't do it anymore.
Right. It catches up with you.
Yes. Yeah. So that helped me to create some boundaries for myself. So yes, I also like to make to-do lists. But if something doesn't get done on that to-do list, okay. It moves to the next to-do list.
Yes, I do that too. But I do try to put things on my to-do list that are feasible and, necessary, to help me get through my day or to help me reach my goals.
Okay.
I think we all know that when you set goals, especially if it's a big goal, then you have to take the baby steps to get there. Like you're not just going to reach that gigantic goal tomorrow if you haven't taken the smaller steps to get there.
Okay.
So I do try to do that. However, one thing I've started doing recently, because I was feeling some kind of way of not having time for my own projects. So one thing I've learned to do, let's say I put 3 to-do things on my list. So one thing helps others, one thing helps me, and one thing is just for fun. So that's what I try to have on my to-do list every day.
I didn't know.
I just started
we're not communicating very well in our relationship, Jill, because I didn't know.
Sure you did.
No, I didn't know. This is the first I'm hearing of that.
We don't talk about our to-do list very often unless I say to you, what are you doing today? Then you might, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
Or you might ask me, what do we have to do this weekend? You might say.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I'll ask you. Yeah.
So again, I tell you what we have to do, not necessarily the other things on my list, like the things I'm going to do to help somebody, the things I'm going to do to help myself. So it's not that we're not communicating. We just don't have conversations like that. Maybe we should. Here we are. This is the start of that conversation.
Maybe we should.
I'm telling you now.
No, I've never broke down my to-do list like that.
Oh, I just started this month, July. I just started.
Well, you know what? I think maybe I do.
Yeah, you do.
I
Maybe
do,
you don't
but
think of it.
I do it in a different way. Like I will say on a day off, being that I'm gone all week, I have a lot of stuff to do. Come the weekend, stuff
Right.
that people would normally do after work, during the
Right.
week and all of that. So, but I kind of have a rule that 5 o'clock, by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, early evening, I stop.
Right.
I don't do any of the chores or anything, of that nature after 5 o'clock. And I just do whatever I want for me or us,
Right.
spend time together. So I do have a separation in
Between
that.
work and
between
relaxation.
between your job, between the things you have to do to run your household, and quality time to spend with you or loved ones or family or
Right.
something like that.
Right. Yes. I guess my cutoff time though is different because I usually don't get going until like 3. That's my sweet spot.
We have to get in sync, Jill.
No, we don't.
Do you know, as long as we have been together, we have never been in sync when it comes. And it's really odd because we do get along so well and we like so many of the same things. But one thing we can't get in sync with is our sleep schedule.
True.
It just doesn't happen.
True.
True.
It's true.
It's
That's
true.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
So what can we do to get in sync with our sleep schedule?
Well, you laugh at me every time I say I'm going to do something about that. You laugh every single time, so it makes me think I can't do it. So I don't.
Well, because you've said you're going to change your, sleep schedule. You say it often.
I do, but every time I do, you're like, ah, ha, 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 ha. Like,
Yes,
yeah, right.
Yeah, because
it's not that's not easy for me.
obviously,
It's not. That is not an easy thing for me.
Obviously.
Like my sweet spot really is like starting at 3 and going until the next morning, when most people are asleep.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't you try
Don't you remember?
my way?
Well, actually, I I am a person that if I didn't have to get up early for work, I would probably stay awake every night until 2, 3 in the morning.
So see, you're resisting your natural body rhythm.
Yeah, because
I'm embracing mine.
Yeah, because I have to work and I have a job where if I get
I have to
drowsy,
work.
people can die.
Well, I don't. I obviously don't want you to drive sleepy
So
and harm yourself or anybody else.
yeah,
but I get up when I have to.
No, I think the issue is you really like to sleep.
I do. I do. I wholeheartedly admit that.
I just want to sleep. I don't particularly like to sleep. I would be really happy if a person didn't need to sleep at all. If I could be awake for 24 hours a day and never have to sleep, I would be really happy. And never got tired.
Well,
that
I
would
could
be
see how that's
fantastic.
How if we didn't need sleep, we would all get much more done, I believe. But I do like sleep. I think sleep is a wonderful thing.
Yes, you do.
Although I don't sleep very well very often either.
No.
So there's that.
Nope.
But I do see the benefits if I were to get up earlier. I just for some reason, I just can't do it.
Yeah, ever so often you'll call me up and say, "Hey, I got up early and it's 12 o'clock now and I've got so much stuff done. Oh
Yes.
my gosh."
And then the next
It was
day,
like,
I'm like exhausted. I just can't get
Well,
through the
that's-
day.
you get up early, you can get a lot of stuff done.
I understand that.
And
Well,
you know,
let's-
and the other thing is that there's people, you know, you have to do business with there at that time also.
I don't miss business meetings. I'm there.
Okay.
Let's get to our second segment that we call
Give it a rest and a resolution.
all right. Conclusion resolution.
Nope.
That's your answer. That's your answer.
I've been given too much of myself. Nope.
Oh, so okay. Well, I believe I have been, but I'm trying to balance that out more and more. So that's my conclusion. All right. Well, let's get to our third segment that we call.
I'm trying to help you.
You have anything, Jill?
I do. So my advice goes back to what I was saying about my to-do list. If you find that you're given so much to other people or other people's projects that you're becoming, it reaches a point where you're resentful that you're not getting anything done that you wanted to get done, then you have to find balance. And the way that I do that is put myself on my schedule. I make myself a priority. I set aside time, appointment time for myself. So
Okay.
I incorporate that into my schedule.
That is excellent advice.
Which means you probably will have to say no to things that maybe people are expecting you to do.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. I'd like to extend that a little bit. And it's really important to take care of self. Take care of yourself. It's like when you take a flight and they always tell you to put your oxygen mask on first before you help someone else. Well, you also need to do that for yourself in your daily life.
Right.
Take care of self first. Make sure you have what you need to feel comfortable in life, physically and emotionally. And then maybe you'll find out, oh, I do have some time to maybe help someone else or commit to another project that may not be your project. You just want to help out on it. But self first, think of yourself first.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, I think many times I learned the hard way. Like I learned I don't know, last year, 2 years ago, that just because you can do something doesn't mean
you
that you should.
That is correct.
So, and that's not selfish. Some people think that's being selfish.
No, it's self-preservation.
Preservation?
I tell you, I'm not feeling well today. Yeah, that's it.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, I can't say that today.
That's all right. I can say it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's get to our fourth segment that we call.
So, what do you think? What do you think?
Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
We want to hear from our listeners, and that number again is
404-594-2247.
Yes. And when you do call, please leave a message because we get a lot of calls. And no one or very few people will actually leave a message.
Those
so
are probably
don't expect
robocalls, Jill.
I don't know.
Were they breathing heavy? Were they like
It's a voicemail message. I don't know. They don't say
they
anything.
didn't breathe heavy?
No, stop that. You're being creepy. So don't expect to talk to us there. We talk to you through our podcast. All right. Well, I think that wraps this episode
It's a
up.
wrap.
You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Zinke for the art, and to you, listeners, thank you for always supporting us. For always supporting us and listening to us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We love you all. Bye-bye.